This is my evaluation for Unit 2, the creating an advert unit. I'm going to start off by saying that I feel like this one went quite well in terms of planning, but in terms of actually the production, I didn't actually get that much time to do it because it seemed quite rushed and I was more focusing, obviously it's the final major next. I was focusing on that, which probably was not a good idea. But I still think it went okay. But yeah, I'm more pleased with the research I carried out. I feel like I done quite a lot of it, and it helped me like get a lot of ideas about the brand Gillette and like what people would want to see. So to start with, in this project, task one, we had to look at different methods of research. For example, like focus groups, questionnaires. This helped me because then I could like know what to use to get my research. So in terms of task two, when we actually had to conduct our research, I went for a questionnaire, a focus group, and I think that's it because that helped me out quite a lot. I also done a lot of like secondary research, like I went onto like forums on the internet just to see what like people were saying about the brand, see if I could find anything. So that helped me out quite a lot in terms of like finding out like what like sort of different things are associated with Gillette, like different people's opinions about it. So that helped me quite a lot to sort of decide like sort of like the theme I wanted to go for. But I feel like the focus group was definitely the most helpful part because I could get in a group of people and ask them sort of quite abstract questions about the brand, see what it like triggered in their mind. I feel like this helps a lot. Like, for example, one of the things I included quite a lot in my final advert was the colour blue. Because, I mean, obviously it's obvious because the Gillette brand is colour blue, but everyone seems to associate Gillette with blue, even if they like didn't know anything about the brand. They were like, yeah, blue comes to mind. So I definitely wanted to include that in the advert, sort of make people think more about the brand. So yeah, that was a really handy part of the research that helped me. And the questionnaire also really helped me find my target audience. Because I sort of had an idea before I started what my target audience would be, but I wasn't too sure. But the questionnaire sort of just helped me find out like exactly what age group and sort of personalities that people would have who would buy this brand. So it sort of helped me find out that usually the sporty people would be more likely to sort of buy this brand as it sort of relates more to them. Gillette sort of based around sort of like high action sort of sport and stuff. That's what they tend to base the adverts and like brand around. So yeah, that was really helpful. I also in the focus group, it helped me sort of realise that people like comedy. Oh, and the questionnaire it helped me realise that in these sort of adverts, they enjoy sort of quite comical sketches. So I definitely felt like I needed to include that, and I felt like I did that quite well with the music that I used, which I'll play in a second. So yeah, task two was like really handy for me. I think that was like my best sort of part of the project in terms of like conducting all the research and getting a good idea of what I needed to do. Task three was the pre-production work, so all like the consent forms, the storyboards, all that sort of stuff. The storyboard helped me sort of quite a lot when it came to shooting because I knew I didn't have much time when I went to shoot. That really helped me because I could look at each shot and just go straight into it instead of having to sort of work it out as I go. So obviously that was really handy for me. The other stuff sort of you just have to do. Can't really talk about that. And then it came to the actual production. Like I said, I didn't have much time to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it through and I'm going to pause it like at different stages and talk about it. Just before I start, at the end, there should be like the Gillette brand's logo should come up with the like a slogan I created, which was behind every success there's Gillette. But for some reason on this export it doesn't have it, and I don't have the proper one. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just gonna start playing it and then I'll talk through it. Firstly, I'll pause it really quick. You sort of get an idea of the music I was going for, like quite sort of western cowboy music. I felt like that was made the sort of whole scene quite comical. I think that was quite a good idea. One thing that was pointed out that I could have done was use like a sepia sort of filter on the whole scenes to sort of create more of a western setting, which I probably should have done. Obviously I can take that on board, so I can like now sort of relate the music with the colouring. So that was sort of handy that I sort of got to learn about that and find out that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna carry on playing. I wanted to use quite close-up shots right at the beginning to sort of get their facial expressions better. I felt like this was good to sort of set the scene to show like quite a tense sort of setting. I felt like if I got their facial expressions where they're like focusing on that, it would like sort of give off that effect. You can also see there's a lot of blue with the ball. There's blue. Both the characters are wearing blue. I wanted to also make sure that every shot was quite sort of slowly panned round to sort of create that sort of like a build-up suspension, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to have like pans like around the shoulder, like quite slow, like revealing the goal and that and stuff like that. Here you'll see the slow motion is actually really sort of jolty. I actually done that on purpose. I felt like it would create more of sort of a, as you can see in the whole scene, I wanted to create it quite comical in terms of like, it's not very well sort of, it's not a good setting, it's completely just in a random field, like it's sort of, the penalty means absolutely nothing, but I wanted to create a scene where it felt like it sort of meant a lot, which so like with the rubbish sort of slow motion kick, I wanted to sort of indicate, okay, where is it, back here, I wanted to sort of indicate that the whole setting is quite sort of low cost, sort of just like rubbishness, if that makes sense. So I wanted to have it quite jolty and just sort of show that as if it's sort of being filmed by one of their mates as they're taking the penalty. So I felt like that was quite a cool idea. I also wanted to back that up with the last scene. As you can see, it's not fully in focus. The zoom is quite fast. It almost looks like his mate has just picked up the camera and sort of followed his celebration. So yeah, and here is where the slogan would come up, saying behind every success there's Gillette, and then that would go away, and then the logo would come. But for some reason, this export doesn't have that, and I can't find the one that does. But yeah, overall, if I had have put more time into this, which I possibly could have, but it was difficult because I'd spent more time worrying about the final major and actually planning this one, like getting the research together, that I didn't actually give myself enough time to actually do the production. So I literally did not spend long at all on this, but I feel like the idea was there. Like I could have improved. Like the idea was good. I just needed to work around, like when actually filming it, put more sort of like time into it. But overall, I felt like it was quite a sort of a short, effective advert. I think it worked quite well, and I'm quite happy with it. Now, in terms of the post-production, I actually am probably the most pleased with it I have been out of all my projects. Not because it's great, purely because I finally actually took time on each shot, correcting the colours. Like I actually done the colour correction stuff, which I hadn't done before. I think I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, so I sort of left it out, and I was sort of more focusing on other stuff. But this time I proper went for it in terms of that, and I feel like it made the shots look a lot nicer. You probably can't tell because you don't know what they looked like before, but the colouring just looks a bit nicer. It looks sort of more like grey and gloomy, like this advert was meant to be, like sort of just quite set in, like quite just out middle of nowhere, just quite a rubbish scene. So I feel like the pre-production definitely helped me, and I'll feel more confident editing my next project because I know that I just spend a little more time on each shot and just make them perfect instead of just throwing them in there. So that was probably like, out of this project, what I could take most out of this. So yeah, overall it was like quite a successful project for me. In terms of like picking up stuff that I can concentrate on in like my further project, like the final major, that like means a lot more than this. So yeah, overall I'm just really happy with like how this whole thing turned out in terms of everything apart from the actual thing, which doesn't sound like great now I'm talking about it. But yeah, so this was my evaluation. Actually, last thing, I'm just gonna sort of talk about what went wrong, because I said about what went well. Things that went wrong, I probably could have got my shots a bit crisper. What I should have done is maybe taken about 5 or 6 shots of each scene, so I had one to choose from. But I literally had no time to film this. Like this production actual filming took me 25 minutes. That's all I had, so I had to do it really quickly. But yeah, if I'm gonna be like critical on what I've done, I would definitely give myself more time and then do more shots. Make sure every single one's in focus, which obviously I will do for like the next ones. I'll give myself a lot more time, multiple days. But yeah, for this one, that's the sort of thing that I would like to improve on. But yeah, other than that, I feel like everything went quite well. So yeah, this was my evaluation for Unit 2, and yeah, finished. I'll turn this thing down.